Hi, my name's Molly Inzer, and I'm from Louisville, Kentucky. I'm a freshman pre-communication design major, and I'm applying for the design program. I've always been a creator. When I was little, my mom had my sisters and me constantly working on some sort of craft. She's an interior designer herself, and I believe I get most of my creativity from her. Throughout elementary and middle school, I always enjoyed my art classes, but I didn't think too much of it. It wasn't until high school that I found my true love for art and design. When I'm asked, why design, it's difficult to pinpoint just one reason. I design for others, for my own enjoyment, and to contribute something to society. I hope to leave the world a better and prettier place than where I found it. In my pre-communication design class, on the first day we went over the different forms of design and aspects that make a good designer. This made me think of the HBDI assessment I had taken last semester. My results show that I'm strongest in both yellow, which is imaginative and artistic, as well as green, which is detail-oriented and organized. A lot of people think these two traits are conflicting. However, to be a good designer, it is important to be experimental as well as practical. As for the type of design I'm interested in, there are two that caught my eye. I've always been a big fan of end products that are tangible. I also love when it is something you can experience or interact with. The two types of design I'm most interested in is package and environmental. My favorite part about package design is how it's incorporated into our lives. Just about every product needs some sort of packaging, and I can say truthfully that I have bought something simply because of the way it was packaged. Even with water bottles, around campus they sell typical Dasani water, and they also sell Pretty Life water. It's the same product being sold, but the way the bottle is presented influences the consumer's choice. The other thing that interests me with package design is how people experience interacting with it. I mean, even YouTube has a million unboxing videos. It's just the possibilities with this type of design seem to be endless. The other form of design I'm interested in is environmental design, so transforming a space. When I heard about this type of design, I immediately thought of Next in Fashion, a great show on Netflix I highly recommend. Anyways, someone had the opportunity to design what went on the screens that covered the walls and runway. I know environmental design is broad, but I'm mostly interested in contained spaces. Another example is Glossier. They were able to transform their stores into a monochromatic haven. Because I'm interested in package design, it was only natural for me to critique these paint tubes. I love the packaging for the most part. The aluminum tube is great, very classic, it's easy to store and transport. However, my one issue is with the cap. For my color theory project, I was constantly using different paint tubes. These caps would get stuck and became difficult to twist off. If I was struggling, I can't imagine someone with arthritis trying to open these. To keep with the integrity of the original design, I decided that a lid that snaps closed wouldn't do. For my solution, I came up with replacing the sharp rigid cap with a helicopter cap that would offer more leverage. Think a go-go squeeze applesauce. This may be a simple solution, but would be very beneficial, allowing artists to open their paint tubes with ease. I had a lot of fun with the expressive typography project. The 3 words I picked were trip, squish, and dot. The point was to have the letters express the meaning of the word. For trip, I kept it simple and sweet. The last 2 letters were tilted until they had fallen over. For squish, I thought of a crowded space. I wanted to represent this word by smushing the letters together as if they were in a crowded room. To get this look, I bolded and italicized each letter of the word and had them overlap to create a cramped space. The last word, dot, made me think of polka dots and patterns. I decided to make a pattern of O's or dots and place the word in the center. I bolded the 3 letters, but wanted to be sure it was still somewhat hidden. Throughout this process, I feel as though I was able to get more creative. Overall, I'm satisfied with my designs. Making the mind map was really interesting. When creating this, I was thinking about the things that had the most importance to me. One thing I noticed was how different parts of my life were closely connected. The green lines helped to visualize this. The assignment made me recall some of my goals and dreams for the future, but also made me look back on the memories I've made. Creating a mind map is a great way to brainstorm. For my personal icon, I decided to focus on travel, art, and food. These are 3 important parts of my life. For this project, I went through the phases of refining different icons in order to get my completed design. For phase 1, I sketched out possible designs for my icons. The first category I worked with was travel. Referring back to my mind map was very helpful when thinking of new ideas for possible icons. For my sketches, I included both the destination and different ways of transportation. The second category I selected was art. This one was easy to think of possible ideas. I was able to include some of my favorites, such as fashion design and ceramics. My final category was food. Thinking of icons for this one was easy because I just thought of some of my favorite foods. Phase 2 is where I narrowed down which icons I wanted to finalize. This was a lot more difficult than I thought. I wanted to be sure they were unified and would still look good in circles because the sketches were in square frames. I settled on rectangular-based objects, so for travel I decided the road sign, art a sewing machine, and food a block of cheese. In order to better unify the 3 icons, I also decided I would use green, pink, and orange for my color palette. Phase 3 is where I finalized my icons. Each icon represents a part of who I am. I was able to even take them a step further by transforming them into stickers. Through this course, I was able to learn about different focuses in graphic design, multiple intelligences, visual hierarchy with gridding and magazines and posters, as well as some things about myself. By learning all these new things, it got me excited for the classes I may take in the future. I'm so grateful to have found a creative passion that I can share with others. Thank you for listening.